All right, this is Magmaros' place, and boy is it. We're over at Razorwind, and ever since the whole Blood Elf housing came out, we're just kind of waiting to see like what sort of grand creations would be made, and this is certainly one of them. So what he did, so we have this like this very curious or very cool contrast. I'll say it's a very cool contrast between like the whites, the blues, and like these browns, because we just have this fantastical structure that he put together. Now, some of the reds and the yellows, they kind of throw me off, but I mean, I'm just kind of taking it as it is. Like, if the lighting was different, I think that things would blend in a heck of a lot better. Let me try to zoom out here. I can't zoom out. It's just too big. There's just too much house. But then we go around and we can see like just how you can take like these large structures, which, they took up some budget and all that. But because of just how big they are, they can do a great job of skinning the place to be something entirely. And this is like classic Magmaros. He's been doing these sorts of like reskins of the exteriors for a while now, using like big old gazebos, wagons, and but then of course with a big structure like this, it's easy for the Blood Elf housing to just have its own like massive scale to it just on its own. So even if I were to like climb up here, we can see like we have like freaking 5 towers that are being set up, and that's just how it is for the Blood Elf housing. But really, really cool stuff. So someone was asking about the blue windows. These look like mirrors. Yeah, I think these are, okay, I don't know what kind of mirrors. I forget, but they definitely look like mirrors. Or rugs, actually. Because what you can do with this sort of structure here, because they're using like some fences here, you can then like put a rug or whatever you like behind it to obscure everything else. It's the Elven mirror. Yeah, so it looks like it's that. That might help to save on the budget a little bit too. Instead of using like that plus dyes and whatever else that might help you obscure it. Yeah, I think if only like there was more capability with the dyes to make this thing match a little bit more, oh, that'd be so cool. But I love the structure of it. The shape is like, again, it's something that he does a lot where it's just like really excessive, but it makes it so fun though. All right, let's head on inside past this custom door. I think that was using like some sort of like fencing and a trellis. All right. So as soon as we go in, total Venthyr vibe. I'm kind of accustomed with him with him doing something like this too. So here we have this very grand hallway. Like this is a large room that we're working with. So notice how it's being like kind of cut up a little bit. We come in and we have like this very cool coffin shaped door. I think this is pretty awesome looking. That looks sick. Very, very stylish right there. So nothing to really hang up or nothing. We just kind of like sit down to our thing. But we have like this really grand foyer that Foyer or Foyer, whatever. That we're led into. And from the outside here, what do we have? How is this like dressed up? So it's kind of like this like side courtyard. This kind of side yard where folks can kind of sit, do their thing. That's going to lead upstairs. So we'll eventually see kind of where that takes us, which is kind of crazy because like notice how we're using like the vaulted ceiling here. That gives us a little bit more real estate to work with, because when you're using the unvaulted ceiling, you kind of like lose like a yard or two of space. But here they're able to make put this into like a really, really good effect. And so we'll see what happens when we make some of these climbs here. It's going to be kind of curious because it's not a stairwell room. We just have like this really high ceiling, but dressed really, really well. Knowing that we have like this kind of like outdoor space. And then notice here, like you have the floors being set up as well as the Gildan walls. You have some curved tables set up as arches, and notice how they phase through like just a little bit. Really cool shape. Very, very cool shape. But as for like some of the other details, we like notice it's light on like things like the clutter and whatnot. So we have this emphasis on like these, just again, like a whole, big shapes to round things out. And that's what we're seeing like throughout most of the space here. It's a large room, so most of these are not going to be like secrets or whatnot. So, we can see like there's a doorway there, some containers and what have you. Little bits of spaces that are filled out to give like some activity, a little bit of life to it. But here again, we're seeing what I believe are like just kind of these carved out spaces, or carved out rooms. I'm sorry. So like there's a doorway down there. We'll see what's going on there. But as we go through here, once again, walls are being set up, dead end hallway. But then this is going to be a climb that'll take us like to this upper level area. First, I want to see what's behind this door. Is this a skybox room? No. This is just a large. This is a large square room. That's how it looks to me, at least. So here we have just like a closet. Something small that they want set up. You can see like the bottom of the stairs there. So kind of similar vibe to what we saw here. It's just like, okay, there was no closet space that's carved up or anything like that. We can climb up the stairs, but I kind of want to go up the side first to kind of see what's going on, to see how this might kind of connect together. So let's see what's going on when we make this climb. Boop, 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 boop. Notice the smoke there? I think that was coming from the forge that's just below us. And again, remember, we're still in like this one room, which is pretty crazy. It shows like just how much room, or just how much real estate this particular room takes. There's so much you can put in here. Yeah, those happen to be walls. This is all just kind of a setup, like just huge dressing. So it's this can be like a really big social place. Custom fireplace right here. Really cool too. Let's see, what do we have here? We have the actual fireplace. That's cool. But then we also have like a fence, upside down elven bench, what looks like a fence post right up here. This rocky structure might be either the bottom of a shelf or something like that, because I think that's sturdy fireplace right there. This feels like it's a shelf and like a clipped elven structure of sorts that's kind of bleeding through. I mean, the shaping of it's really cool because it has like this whole like just kind of like box form. And I know I've seen a number of custom fireplaces from them too. All right, so we keep going here. I just want to check out this other side, like check out the arches. Really cool. A lot of work goes into like the proper spacing of this. Like I wonder if symmetrically, if this is like really even. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, but really cool though. Yeah, and then here's the Pandarn wall that I referred to this earlier, because like it's there, but I wonder if it leads anywhere. I don't think I can like jump through these and okay, I can't drop down. Yeah, that didn't lead anywhere, but that's pretty gnarly, dude. This is a cool build. And we're just looking at this one room so far because there's just so much that goes into it. I'm going to climb back up again. Actually, now we're going up this climb. Notice here that we have like kind of like a 40-degree angle as opposed to a 45. And the way it's shaped is they just use the wall. So like here you can see the diagonal of the... Oh no, this is a shelf, actually. Yeah, this is the really big shelf, I think. That's pretty good. I almost thought it was a wall. So you can see like the studs for the shelf here. And that works out really good. Really smooth. Like check out the shaping of this right here. And then right up here, like here again are like different studs from a different structure that help to round it out. Oh, that's really inventive. Yeah, and then you're pointing out the gilded walls to use as kind of like the top of this straight edge here. Yeah, that's really good. I notice here too, like the drapes here, that's actually the bed. The bed is just kind of like fused and kind of like shoved down there. And then you have like this, the top of the structure here being kind of sticking out as like cool dressing. And it works as like kind of a flower pot too. That's pretty cool. Very creative use of the available features of that decor. But now there's only one way to go. Actually, let me double check that. So there's that room. Okay, there's another room here. And then let me see if, and I think there was nothing on this side. I'll do one more check. These rooms are huge, so I gotta like jog. I'm actually gonna go to the right first. We'll see where that takes us. Boop. Ooh, so new hallway. So once again, vaulted ceiling. They created their own framing up top here, which looks really, really smooth. I'm trying to find where the break is. And I'm not seeing it. Actually, is this vaulted? Yeah, it's hard to tell now. I think this might be like... No, because it looks straight. Yeah. So I think this is like built in. So that's really cool though. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So, boop. Yeah, so here we are there. And we just got a lot to explore. Damn. Well, let's explore. All right, so what room is this? This is Miss Merkel's room. With a, this is classic Magmaros. I'm familiar with the style. Like he loves to do like these really crazy custom beds. So here's like the bed. And then you have like, you have these two benches that are kind of like crisscrossing over each other. Actually, there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they sort of like mesh over each other to create like this really grand effect on top of it. Beams, it looks like, for the to kind of round out the bed frame. Actually, no, it's 2. So here's like one of them, right? So here's the example. And then there's another one. And then there's another one. Yeah, so you have like a couple of those working out. Really cool. Really cool use of the space. And I think this is I think this right here is a bench. Maybe. This thing right here. And there's like another one right back there. So cool way of like, again, Kitbashing or smashing things together to make this really grand structure. Notice that the wall dressing, the wall trimming here is pretty high, but it's using a whole table to do it. It looks like they just wanted to preserve the shaping of that little crystal thing right there to preserve the effect. But otherwise, small details, you're not seeing a lot of those. There's Miss Mergle over there. You have some lighting, small things here and there. But again, we're mostly working on a style where we have like these really big pieces that are being, manipulated to create like new objects. So it's a different style of detail that we're achieving with this particular build. So again, like check out the trimmings, tables, rounded tables right over there. Over in this bedroom, we kind of like divert away from the kind of like the darker Venthyr vibe to something definitely more night elven. But again, check out the custom fireplaces. You're gonna see a lot of these from this dude. Yeah, so I think that those might be beams that'll kind of like fuse through. You have some of the fireplace. I don't know if you can call it a shelf, but you have that kind of like sticking out. And this looks like an elven dresser that's being used to kind of dress like the top of it. It's kind of neat. That's neat. Well, the picture in the hallway is slightly tilted. Oh, is it? Oh, it is. Now I'm tilted. Yes, there are some details that you'll find around here. There's like, that are easy to miss. So here we return to the Venthyr vibe. Again, custom fireplace. And then here's like the same style of bed. So this is definitely one of those situations where it's like, okay, if you see something like this and you manage to like copy paste it, then you can like blast these like all over the house. That's cool. Right here, the culture vibe sort of changes. Now we have like some Draenei looking devices, things like that. Plans being made, different sort of custom fireplace, this time with the bigger grill. and a lot of little things that are put together here. So I think you see like some 1 or 2 benches. Actually, I think it's just one large bench that are right here. The bottoms of shelves and walls. Again, here with the what looks like the bench. Very cool. Let's see. And then we got like the double doors. Like double doors look really good. I like that it's thanks to the edge of the room here that you're able to obscure like some of the clipping that would otherwise be here. But then they filled that out. You know, rounded tables here, one flat table right there. More tables, more tables. I'm not quite sure what that structure is behind those fences there. Actually, maybe I do. I think that's a trellis, and that's a trellis, just kind of like, you know, marp off to the side, fused through. And I think those might be mirrors, actually. Yeah, those are mirrors. So yeah, a lot of pieces that go into like this this wall section. Funny enough, you can see the shelf studs like kind of sticking out there. So as we go into this room. Okay, we got a similar bed, but this one happens to have like the draping over it. That's cute. I never quite know if like any of these are secrets, but I think none of them are. Huge trellis. Oh, check out the size of this thing. Oh, you can hang all sorts of stuff on top of that. One more custom fireplace. You know, and very liberal use of the dyes as well. I didn't clip it on the other sides of things. It's the worst. Yeah, it's tough. Like sometimes coincidentally things might work out. Most of the time though, it's really tough. Okay, I like the shaping of this particular bedroom or office build because you have like a kind of like, it's not really a reception desk, but you can call it that. Yeah, I like the way that some of these things are like positioned together. But it's also very samey too. We've seen you know, some of the rooms that we passed by. Here's a couch. So yeah, so here's a couch, kind of a different vibe. But if anything, they took like this couch, they just put it on top of here, you know, so kind of renewed the shape into something else again. Really, he's really skilled at that. I'm sorry, they're really skilled at that. All right, let's go through these double doors. Let's see what else we got. Ooh. So now I have a feeling that we just walked outside. We got this huge library. And look at the size of these books. Oh boy. Huge stuff. You know, big shapes. Like the scale is just enormous. Now, interesting pattern that we have here, you know, with how things are shaped. You have like some gaps there. Things are, you know, gaps in floors that provide like this sort of contrast. But we're kind of intended to go in a mostly straight line. I think we're just kind of like direct to the top here. Big old conference table right up here. Benches, tables. Actually, not a table. Maybe a table. Oh, I'm sorry, bench. And then outside, oh, is this a skybox? No, it is a skybox room. Yeah. So let me try to position myself for like the shot. So we have this shot right here. Really pretty. Really pretty. Greens on the outside. Rocks too. It doesn't appear that they're trying to achieve a sort of like sense of depth here or anything like that. But it's just really well dressed, and we can preserve the illusion of it truly being outside. A lot of work goes into the construction here because they had to basically skin the whole darn area, you know, and you kind of notice that the platforms that are being used here, huge, big platforms, but also walls. You know, notice how there are walls that are being tilted and turned, you know, angled, you know, in a fairly subtle way to kind of close off the space, but also while trying to also preserve budget. Like the scale of these builds, huge. It's a very epic style. And there's just a lot going on too. So like, for example, like you have like a bunch of these tables here, which I'm sure they take up a lot of budget. They're used to kind of skin these pillars here. which is pretty cool. There might be some bugs going on here. You can notice like that one's died, that one's not. So there might be like some flubs here and there. And hopefully Blizzard gets around to fixing some of these one-offs. But yeah, the scale of stuff. This is just epic, dude. Like you're going through. It's just, yeah, tons of real estate. It makes for some great entertainment. So you can have like a whole guild that's living in here. That's pretty wild. But now we're going to kind of backtrack a little bit. So now we're going, I believe, this way, and we'll see what else there is to explore. So now we have got another hallway. This one is vibed a little bit differently. So like here's something interesting. We have like this door here, which I think is just dead end. Yeah, just a dead end. But we do have, ooh, this is a very cozy office. Like the ceiling is, it's not vaulted this time, it looks like. We're just seeing like the sides of it. Yeah, no secrets there. That's just, I think, something that we'll see on the other side of that, that door. Or wall. Yeah, again, again with the custom everything, dude. Like I said, the die game is like intense. And I think we're running into, you know, kind of dead ends or works in progress or whatnot. So now we have like one more kind of like office room, or no, I'm sorry, it's one more bedroom. So check it out again. You know, we have this bed right here with the frame, different kinds of benches that are used to kind of skin the spot. Big mirror. Yeah, just like big pieces to fill out these spaces. Huge. Pretty sure it's a die boat. Yeah. I'm sure we're seeing that. Kind of a shame. Yeah, the scale on these is freaking crazy, dude. I really like this this setup here. This is the back of something. I'm not quite sure exactly what that structure is. And let me double check. Did I see everything? Unless there was a secret behind one of these bajillion bookshelves. I think I might have seen everything. Elven bed? Okay. Are all these large rooms, or is this a hall? So this area here, this is definitely a large room. Lots of real estate here. You know, so that, I mean, that alone takes up a whole lot of budget. Here, I would, it might be a large room. Yeah, this is kind of a long walk that we're doing here. And then everything else is just kind of walled off. You know, you can kind of see the segments here. Boom, 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 boom. So it could be. It's a little hard to tell. I mean, like the scale just like really throws me off. And then this spot, yeah, I'm gonna guess that these are all like large rooms. And then out here is the skybox room for nighttime. Did it say what level is? This is level 7. Yeah, big place, big place. So like I was saying, like the emphasis here is on the different creation of like different shapes. So like you see lots of like custom fireplace, custom bed, custom tables. You have like these big trimmings right down here, you know, to kind of skin the walls. It's a very cool effect. Very cool. Notice here, this one I failed to notice until just right now. You have the pillars here, but then you have these upside down elven tables that help to kind of like skin the bottom of this area, or the bottom of these pillars. That's very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and then here's like those mirrors that we were talking about too. You know, pretty liberal use of like these candelabras and the tusk shelves. And appropriately so. Like you need to cover like a whole lot of space here. Yeah. Cool stuff as always, man.